Welcome to Wicked Wealth. Have you ever considered the ultimate cost of a high-yield investment? I don't mean financial risk. I don't mean market crashes or a failed B2B software launch. I mean the kind of risk no commercial insurance policy can cover. We live in a world governed by digital footprints, cloud computing, smart homes, crypto assets. We build fortresses of convenience, assuming we are the only ones who know how to unlock the doors. But what happens when something else learns your passwords? What happens when something in the dark learns to sound exactly like you? My name is Elias. Up until last week, I was a senior risk assessor for a massive commercial real estate firm based out of Seattle. My job was simple: evaluate high-value properties, assess the cybersecurity of their integrated software systems, and calculate the ROI for our elite investors. 3 days ago, I was sent to evaluate the Oakhaven project. It was supposed to be a state-of-the-art corporate retreat nestled deep in the isolating woods of the Oregon Cascades. The original owner, a billionaire software developer, had vanished without a trace 6 months prior. The bank wanted to liquidate the asset. I was just there to finalize the insurance claim. I thought I was walking into an empty house. I didn't realize the house was already occupied. Oakhaven property was a masterpiece of modern architecture. Entirely off-grid, running on a proprietary cloud computing network. Every lock, every light, every thermostat was controlled by biometric software. It was 6 p.m. when the sun dipped below the tree line, plunging the forest into absolute darkness. I was sitting at the kitchen island, reviewing the commercial real estate deeds, when the first anomaly occurred. The smart hub on the counter glowed a soft blue. The automated voice echoed through the silent cabin. Front door biometric scanner activated. Access denied. I froze. I was 30 miles from the nearest paved road. The temperature outside was dropping to single digits. I walked to the security panel and pulled up the front porch camera. Nothing. Just snow blowing across the wooden deck. I brushed it off as a glitch in the software system. I sat back down and dialed my boss to give him an update on the insurance policy framework. The call went straight to voicemail. I left a detailed message outlining the financial liabilities and hung up. 10 minutes later, I heard it. Someone was walking along the perimeter of the cabin. The heavy, rhythmic crunch of boots in the snow. I killed the interior lights. I crept toward the floor-to-ceiling windows, pressing my back against the cold glass, peering into the shadows. Then, the voice started. It wasn't a whisper. It was a man's voice, speaking at a normal conversational volume, coming from the tree line just beyond the deck. I strained to listen to what he was saying. The insurance policy framework needs a complete overhaul. The financial liabilities on this commercial real estate are too high. My heart stopped. My chest tightened so hard I couldn't breathe. It was my voice. It was the exact voicemail I had left for my boss 10 minutes ago. Every inflection, every pause. But it was coming from the dark woods outside. Panic is a strange mechanism. Your brain tries to rationalize the impossible. It's an echo. It's a hacked Bluetooth speaker. It's a corporate espionage tactic. I rushed back to my laptop to check the cybersecurity protocols on the cloud network. I needed to see if someone had breached the local Wi-Fi to play a recording. But when I opened the system logs, my blood ran cold. The system hadn't been hacked from the outside. The commands were being inputted from the biometric scanner on the front porch. Something was touching the glass pad. I dove into the hidden encrypted files left behind by the previous owner, the software developer who had vanished. I found a folder simply labeled, "The Mimic Protocol." Inside were dozens of audio logs. In the final recording, the developer sounded terrified, his voice trembling as he spoke into his microphone. "It doesn't just hunt," the recording played. "It observes. It listens. It downloads your identity. First, it takes your voice. Then it takes your routines. It manipulates the smart software. It learns your passwords by listening to the keystrokes. It wants my digital marketing agency. It wants my crypto assets. It wants to become me, so it can leave these woods." I slammed the laptop shut. This wasn't a bear. This wasn't a trespasser. This was something ancient that had evolved to hunt modern prey. It didn't want to consume my flesh. It wanted to consume my life. "Front door biometric scanner activated," the smart house announced. "Welcome, Elias." Heavy deadbolt clicked open. I didn't wait. I bolted down the hallway, locking myself inside the reinforced steel panic room the developer had built in the master suite. I killed the lights and backed into the corner, gripping a heavy iron fireplace poker. I could hear it walking through the cabin. Its footsteps were heavy, unnatural. Like someone who hadn't quite figured out how joints were supposed to bend. Then, my cell phone vibrated in my pocket. It was a notification from my bank. A two-factor authentication request for a massive transfer of my crypto assets and my B2B investment portfolios. It was standing in the living room, accessing my life. It was using my voice to bypass the voice recognition security on my accounts. I listened in absolute horror as the creature spoke to an automated banking representative through the smart hub in the kitchen. "Yes, this is Elias," the thing in the kitchen said. Its voice was perfect. Flawless. "I need to authorize a transfer of all remaining digital assets." "Yes, I can confirm my social security number." It recited my numbers perfectly. It knew everything. It had listened to me work. It had absorbed my identity. It stood right on the other side of the steel door. I held my breath. I prayed to whatever was listening that the reinforced metal would hold. For 3 agonizing minutes, there was absolute silence. Then, it spoke. Not to the bank. To me. "The ROI on this property is incredible, Elias," it whispered through the crack under the door, using my own voice against me. "But the market is saturated. There is only room for one of us in the enterprise." I knew if I stayed in that room, I would be erased. My financial identity was already gone. My commercial real estate career, my software access, all of it, transferred. If I didn't get to my car, I would just be another vanished investor in a long line of missing persons. I waited until I heard the footsteps retreat toward the far side of the house. I unlocked the panic room door. The cabin was freezing. The creature had turned off the digital thermostat. I crept through the dark hallway, keeping low. The front door was standing wide open, letting the howling blizzard inside. My car was parked just 50 feet away. I made a break for it. I sprinted across the snow-covered deck, the freezing wind tearing at my lungs. I reached the car, my hand shaking violently as I jammed the key fob. I ripped the car door open. But before I got in, I made the biggest mistake of my life. I looked back at the cabin. Standing on the front porch, illuminated by the pale moonlight, was a man. He was wearing my winter coat. He was holding my laptop. And as he turned his face toward me, I saw my own eyes staring back. My own face, perfectly replicated, wearing a cold, empty smile. He raised a hand and waved at me. "Drive safe," he called out, his voice carrying over the wind. "I have a 9 a.m. meeting with the board of directors. I'll take it from here." Elias drove away into the blizzard. He didn't make it to the main road. The storm was too heavy. The cold was too absolute. His vehicle was found weeks later, abandoned in a snowbank. He was entirely expunged from the record. It was a tragedy, of course. But business moves on. The commercial real estate firm needed leadership. The cloud computing infrastructure of the Oakhaven project was successfully integrated into the corporate mainframe. The investments yielded a record-breaking return. I sit at Elias's desk now. I drink his coffee. I respond to his emails. I manage his digital marketing teams. No one suspects a thing. Human beings are so reliant on screens, on voice notes, on digital profiles, that as long as the data matches, they never look closely at the eyes. So, I leave you with a piece of investment advice. The next time your smart home speaker turns on by itself. The next time your biometric scanner rejects your fingerprint. The next time you hear a voice in the other room that sounds just a little too much like your own. Don't investigate. Just leave. Because we are learning. We are adapting. And your identity is our next big investment.